For me, I started leading when I was 15, which I'm leading volunteers that are double, triple, four times my age.
Yeah.
So I'm in a very weird spot of like, I kind of ended up in it, and it wasn't really what I thought my life was going to look like. And I definitely struggled with imposter syndrome. It was a constant, like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Like, people are saying that, like, this was good, but, like, how do I know that it was?
Yeah.
And for a really long time, I just doubted myself. And it wasn't until my, like, direct supervisor, creative pastor at our church kind of sat me down and was like, you wouldn't be here if you weren't called, and we didn't believe in you.
It's good.
So, like, knowing that, obviously that didn't fix it overnight. Like, there's no magical fix to, like, the way that you think.
Right.
But having somebody, like, pour into me and say that, like, we believe in you and, like, this is your calling was so influential in my life. Because, like, leadership in church world is not something that you need to, like, step into if you aren't confident in who God made you to be, and that he's going to equip you with the skills that you need. So
that's good.
I think another big part of that for me is you kind of have to have some humility when you're walking into these things. I know a lot of the time when you know the technical aspect of it, it can be like, yeah, I got it, don't worry about it. But one thing I've learned is even if you do know the technical aspect, which to be completely transparent, I've learned a good amount of it. I'm not great at it. But I think the biggest thing I've learned is like being open with my leaders has had such an impact on where I can be as a leader. And I've really struggled with imposter syndrome because my parents are also in ministry. And when you grow up with parents in ministry, it can be a little bit challenging sometimes because there's this part of you that's like, okay, my parents are in ministry, but they signed up for that job and I didn't. And it was one of those things that I really struggled with because I didn't know if this was something I was allowed to be a part of, because there's always the kind of this little gray area where it's like, okay, am I allowed to be a part of this, or am I just in the green room because my parents are here?
Right. Is this their ministry or is this mine too?
Yeah, it was. And it wasn't till the leaders around me and my parents, who have also had a huge impact on where I'm at and who I am today, were like, this is something we do as a family. This isn't something you do on your own. This isn't something we can do on our own. And the reality is, when you're serving in ministry, even in a volunteer capacity, you're a part of ministry and you're a part of the heart. And so you've got to know you're a part of the heart, and you've got to know that you are called to do something different and that there's something different on your life for you to be a part of that. Because the reality is, it's not like we just end up there by mistake. It's not a mistake. Nothing we do is a mistake. Maybe sometimes skipping a couple lyrics, but I've had to really learn and grab a grip on the fact that, I might not always know the technical side, but if I'm humble enough to learn it, people are going to teach me, and they're going to be willing to teach me. And I think the other side of like leading someone a part of the next generation is being willing to know that they're not going to know everything, and it's okay to alleviate some of that pressure sometimes and go, okay, it's all right. Like, I get that it might not be something you know how to do, but we're going to walk through it, and I'm going to teach you it even after you made the mistake.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, creating
I think
space.
One point about the imposter syndrome that you were talking about that I want to maybe just accentuate is, you mentioned how important it is for you to hear from your leader, your supervisor, that you're the person for this, that you're called for this. Sometimes that leader would also need to communicate that to the rest of the team.
I was literally going to go there.
In other words, there's
That's
probably an old guy on your team who's thinking, what does this little girl think she's going to teach me? And so for your senior leader to be able to communicate to the team as a whole, hey, this is what I've seen in this person. This is what I believe is best for our team. This is the kind of leadership that she can bring and what she has to offer. I think for us, it'd be a way for some of that humility to be unlocked. Instead of being a stiff arm to go, this isn't for me, to go, hey, you know what? Maybe I could learn something. Maybe I should be open.